What's up, everybody? It's your boy Philo. I'm out here at Oak Grove Disc Golf Course, Pasadena, California. We're gonna try something new here at Innova. It's called the 60-second Blitz. I got a bunch of questions. I gotta answer your question in 60 seconds or less. You ready? Here we go. Question number one. This comes from T. Geronimo 2. Tips on getting a consistent snap. Here's one of my favorite drills I give to all my students when I'm doing lessons. If you're having a hard time learning about the snap, I really suggest people just sit on their couch with a disc and just do this with their wrist and try to eliminate the elbow out of the snapping action. We really want to feel that connection no matter which way we're snapping the disc with the wrist only, because that's guiding the nose of the disc into flight. So if you want to throw the disc on hyzer, we're unraveling, popping, and the wrist is snapping back to flat, showing a hyzer angle. So you just set that angle and just work on the snapping action back to flat so you don't burn that nose over. You can practice that on any angle your wrist can create, and it'll help you learn how to snap the disc on plane. So that's question number one. Question number two from Dreadhead 808. How long have you been growing your dreads? Well, this hot mess started in 2008, and it's been going strong and growing long ever since. It was just really by accident how this whole thing started. I had a bunch of crazy spirally hairs, and I didn't wash my hair. I did wash my hair. They all got stuck together, and that's how I got dreads. So there you have it. That was a quick and easy one. Next question from King of the Fall. What's a tip or strategy when competing against players with power distance advantage? Well, my game hasn't really changed much in a long time. I've been a very fairway driven player. I'm always focused on playing the hole that as it was designed to be played, keeping the disc in the middle of the fairway. So my goal is to keep the disc in the middle. I don't really see wide and high lines because I don't have enough speed to create those types of flights. So I try to focus on the biggest line in the middle of the fairway or whatever the fairway offers, and I choose the disc that matches. I put the swing that matches the disc, and I aim my body in the place I want the disc to fly, and that's how I keep up. Question number three. This one's coming from Brain McGrain. Do you try all of the Innova molds? Honestly, no. I mean, if they sent me all of them, I'd probably try them, but I think that'd take a little extra effort on everybody's part to give me every disc that ever came out. But, you know, every once in a while, some of the odd ones or obsolete ones for my game, I'll try them out and realize, yeah, I'm gonna stick with my main, 5 or 6 molds, Race Destroyers, T-Birds, Rocks, the classics. All right, next question. Coming from Bearman 1009. What is the secret to being as smooth as you? Lots of field work, honestly, guys. I started off this game like a lot of us with just an insane amount of curiosity and passion for the game, and it was super exciting. I had no control. I didn't know what I was doing. There were no YouTube videos. There were no disc golf coaches. It was really just listening and watching to the guys, watching the guys I played with here at Oak Grove, picking up on what they were doing, and then getting my butt on this practice field and putting the pieces together on my own. And I just really focused on all the other athletic sports that I played, where I focused on being smooth, being in control of my body weight, and using what I have to its optimal, to the peak that I can take it. Thanks for your question. All right, next question is coming from TY3R6, whatever that's supposed to mean. I don't know, maybe it's Tyler 6, I don't know. Do you have to start playing from a younger age to go pro? That's an awesome question. Do you have to start at a young age to turn pro? I'd say no. I didn't start playing disc golf till I was 20. I didn't turn pro till I was 25. So there is hope for you if you're a late starter. It obviously does help if you can start when you're young and let your body grow and develop around the sport as you go through adolescence and all into your early adulthood. I think you're going to see more world champions coming from that age group than from the guys who started at my age at 20. So just an honest opinion. This question is from the Silva Hand. During tournaments, are you more likely to push your limits of play or play it safe? Do I push my limits or play it safe? I would say it's a combination of the two. There's a lot of risk reward in the style of play that's being developed out there on the Pro Tour these days. And you just got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them and play it safe or lay up. And it's just kind of a risk assessment thing. And do you feel very confident in the shot that's out in front of you, or is it safer and smarter to play it safe and play for the lowest number that you know you can score. So that's just something that as a player, you just kind of have to learn to develop that feel and understanding for yourself. I can't say there's a cookie cutter answer to that, because every hole, every situation is going to provide and offer you a different set of circumstances in which you have to make this situation. So I usually try to err on the side of safety and keep my numbers out of the bogey. There we go. We got this question from Keen TY Tom. What can I do at home to improve my game? Philo's tip is get yourself a practice basket and putt for 20 to 30 minutes a day. That is definitely going to change your game. Spend 2/3 of that time inside circle one, going 5 meters, 7 meters, 9 meters. Spend the last 10 minutes working on outside circle one. That's going to change your game big time. You could also work on your flexibility doing stretching. You can do things like practicing your technique in front of a mirror, especially your driving technique, and trying to keep your hips and shoulders on plane so that you don't see the casting when you go forward. That's a big problem for a lot of new players. So things in that nature. I know it's hard if you don't have a huge backyard to get out there and throw a bunch of discs, but you could also get a practice net, like, you know, a little baseball net, and practice shaping your disc level into the net. So there's definitely ways that you can practice at home. It's not as easy as out on the course or out on the field, but it's better than nothing. My next question is coming from RK Riedler 3. What do you attribute to the smoothness of your form to? Or what do I attribute the smoothness of my form to? I really don't know. I think I've just been a natural athlete my whole life for the most part. I've always loved sports. I've been a big fan of technique and form, and I focused on that a lot in the early days of my training and experience in disc golf, is making sure I did things fundamentally correct so that I didn't work against the system that the game offers everybody. So I'd say just being aware of it really is what contributed to being so smooth, is being aware of what my body's doing, being aware of what this game and what the actions are supposed to look like, and staying as true to that as possible. Next question is going to come from future Dr. Weaver. How to add more pop at the time of release during a backhand? Well, you know, we all have different levels of speed and torque. You know, we're not all the same. You know, I don't throw as far as Simon Lizotte or Double G or these guys that throw it a mile. You know, and they just are really good at putting the pieces together and getting the timing just right to really make the disc work with a lot of speed. So if you don't have a lot of speed, one thing I would suggest is really focusing on the hit zone. And for me, the hit zone is when, if I were to say I'm in neutral in this position and I'm going to turn my hips into my reach back, now when I start changing my energy back to the forward motion, I'm going to come into this hit zone right here. Now what I'm focused on is how fast I can get from here to the end of the line in front of me. That's where I'm focused on the speed happening. I'm not focused on the speed happening from the reach back to the snap. It's just on that load to the pop. Try that. Next question from Ohararo or something like that. How do you throw the disc nose down without throwing it into the ground? I love this question. Let me grab a disc and show you. All right. So if you're having a hard time casting the disc nose up, you're going to hear a lot of people say, push your wrist down. Okay, that's really the key. If you're throwing the disc into the ground, it's more than likely because you're going high to low on your swing, and you're automatically creating that trajectory or that pitch downwards into the ground. Imagine yourself shooting your disc like it's a bullet out of a rifle. If you want the disc level to the ground, your reach back should also be level to the ground. And then on your way forward, you can keep things more level. Try that out and see if that helps for you. Next question from Dr. Dresch. Favorite plastic for rainy days or not rainy days? My bag really doesn't change regardless of the weather, you know, in spite of weather and whatever. It's all the same. If it's raining, I'm throwing what I got. If it's dry, I'm throwing what I got. Just have a lot of towels and hopefully a chalk bag. That usually helps. I hear a lot of people say they prefer DX on the rainy days. There aren't really too many DX rock shots out on tour anymore, so it's always Star Race Destroyers for me. Here we go. James Sunger. How to increase distance as a beginner? Great question. How to increase distance as a beginner? Focus on technique. If you can't do it slow, you can't do it fast. So you got to be able to shape the shots you want at a nice 50-60% pace. Get accustomed to the shape of the shot Add your speed as your confidence grows. It's really hard to do things at full speed. So focus on doing things with proper technique, medium speed, 60-70% max. Get accustomed to that feel, and as you grow your confidence, hammer that thing out there. What's the difference you see from a 300-foot thrower to a 400-foot thrower? I'd say the biggest difference is efficiency. There's really not a lot of difference in my opinion. If you can make the disc travel 350 feet or so, the next step to 400 feet is just being more efficient, unless if you're just capped out at speed at 350 feet. The biggest distance I see is nose angle control, not allowing the disc to stall. Okay, when you want the disc to get full glide, even if we're throwing the disc up into the air, you won't see the disc on this angle. That's too much stall angles, everybody. We want to keep that disc on this angle to push forward, even if we're swinging up the grade. And you can always oscillate your wrist to keep that nose down as you're swinging up the grade. It's a huge tip. If you can figure that one out, you're really onto something. And my next question is from Ben Buckley 101. See, that was nice and easy, right? How to get speed on putts while maintaining accuracy and control. Not everybody putts as fast as a guy like Ricky Wysocki. Okay, he putts like a lightning bolt. Okay, I think you want to find something just a little bit slower than that on pace, until maybe your confidence is just on that where you can really hammer the disc towards the basket. Being smooth and rhythmic is a big part of the putting stroke. And I've been teaching this for a long time. A great tip from an old friend, apple pie. You're going to load your energy in 2 and release in 1, and the faster you go, the faster the disc moves. So if you're having a hard time with your putting game and getting good speed and energy on it, focus on your apple pie. 1-2 on the load, 1 on the release. Okay, this question's from Sailor Banberg. Favorite old school / retired disc? That's an awesome question, man. Thinking about it, one just popped into mind. Back in the day when I first started playing here and I was introduced to the rock. Well, shortly after that, the Super Rock came out, and that was one of my favorite discs of all time. And unfortunately, they're not really around anymore. If you can find them, they're a collector's item, and they were so sweet. They was kind of like a mid-blend of Star and DX, and it was just one of the nicest mid-range I'd ever thrown. But then I got really hooked on the DX rocks, and those things were phased out, and so that's where I've stayed. Awesome question, love it. I think we're getting close to the end of the pile here. Next question's from I Had a Clue. How does he swag so hard and continually shred from stop to stop? I'm just doing my thing, man. It ain't that hard. You show up, you play, you leave. That's what we do. Week after week. We show up, we play, au revoir. Thanks for the question. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be Jesus Brode or Jesuits Brode, whatever. I'm sorry, man. I'm butchering y'all's hashtags here, whatever. I am so not new school. How to transfer power from the back foot to the front foot in a backhand throw. Okay, I love this question. This is right up my alley. A really cool way for me to explain this is I call it the push and catch. Okay? What I'm doing when I'm transferring my weight is I'm doing a push and a catch with my energy. So I think about it like I'm a baseball pitcher. I'll do this towards you guys on camera. You guys watch the pitcher, they get all that weight onto that back leg, right? So then they're pushing and they're catching on this foot before the arm even really starts to make its way forward. And it's kind of the same thing for us in disc golf. We're gonna have all that weight on the back. We're gonna push, catch, turn, throw. See if you can work on that. That'll change your game forever. All right, I think that is it. Thank you for your questions. That was the 60-second blitz. We'll catch you all next time.